Hey, and welcome everyone to season 4 of the Ruin Hammer Live Show, where we talk all things One New Zealand Warriors. Thank you all for joining us. Tonight, we're going to be reviewing the Warriors' home semi-final victory over the Newcastle Knights. We're going to look ahead to this week's grand final qualifier against the Broncos at Suncorp Stadium, and we'll take a quick look at the other games that are happening as well. Joining me tonight, as usual, is my good mate and co-host Warrior Roo. Rob, how are you tonight, mate, and how's your week been so far?
Yeah, really good. Thanks, mate. G'day to you. Great to have you back. Good to see your smiling face after a couple of weeks. First and foremost, happy birthday, mate, for yesterday. 34, I think it is. You ticked over to?
54, mate. I'm 54 now,
54.
yep.
Yep. Okay, I was a little bit out. But many happy returns for yesterday. Hope
Thank you
had a
very
great
much.
day. Hoping for more celebrations on the weekend. Hopefully, around 10 p.m. Saturday night would be
Absolutely.
ideal. I'm doing really well. School holidays here, so I've got my hands full, got the kids at home. So we had a good day at Wet and Wild Water Park on the Gold Coast on Tuesday, which was great fun for the kids. Still trying to stick to my diet. I'm having a little bit of a hiatus from my 75 hard, so I'm going to wait till after the season. I do like to enjoy myself when I go to events such as this weekend at the Lord Alfred.
Yep.
I like to have a beer and that at the footy, and a little bit of pizza or a hot dog or whatever. So, but after that, I'm straight back on tracks all the way through to Christmas, try and shed some more kgs. You've been in awards a little bit lately. So this is, you've been away for a fortnight. What's been going on, mate? How's your health?
Yeah, I'm okay, mate. Just a little bit crook the other week. And then last week I had some dental work done that caused me to, there's no way I could have been lucid or understood on live camera. So very thankful that our good mate Brad Inger from the standoff over in New Zealand jumped on.
Great to have you
I see he's
on,
in the chat. Yeah, sees in the chat. Hey, Brad, how are you? Thanks very much for standing in. He'll openly admit he's a bit of a media whore, and he'll jump on whatever show he can. So
we knew he'd be good for it.
Yeah. When I suggested him to you, I knew he'd be good for it. But yeah, mate, no, I'm doing okay. Just navigating through the birthday celebrations this week. I didn't really get up to much yesterday, but really looking forward to Saturday night having Jake's flying in from Queensland. I've got the other kids here. Britt, obviously, she can't fly at the moment. She's with child, pregnant, so she won't be flying down. But catching up with the kids on Saturday night, was going to do. It's a weird one because I haven't had to worry about my birthday and the Warriors playing since 2011. So at this time of year, so we'd kind of organised a family
pleasant
dinner.
Headaches.
Kind of organised a family dinner. Now that the Warriors are playing, I kind of moved it all around. So I'm actually going to be going to dinner at the Hudson Hotel, which is the New South Wales Warriors fans' base when we watch the Warriors play outside of Sydney. We congregate at the Hudson Hotel at Seven Hills. So I'm going to go there and have an early dinner and then into the private sports bar that they have set up for us to watch the game with all the other Warriors fans. So really looking forward to it. Just want to give a shout out to those in the chat that are coming through, wishing me a happy birthday. Thank you very much. In particular, a good mate of mine, Dave from Panania, Davey Towers, has jumped into the chat. Good to see you, brother. And thank you for the birthday wishes. Yeah, mate, should we just jump straight into it? Before we do, though, before we get into tonight's discussion, I invite you, if you haven't already done so, to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel to show your support of this streaming content that we do create. And I'd also like to acknowledge and thank our wonderful supporters and subscribers, particularly our awesome Patreon subscribers, whose donations and support enables us to upgrade our visual presentations via StreamYard to bring you the content and the guests you all enjoy so much.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely appreciate our Patreon supporters so much. And just a reminder to everyone that has tuned in tonight, the reason that we do the show live is to get the involvement of all you guys watching. So please, as we move through the discussion points, join the conversation, leave your comments. But please do be aware that we have current and ex-players and their families that watch this webcast. So please remember to keep your comments respectful and refrain from making them personal. All right, so let's get into the discussion. Before we do, mate, we must mention the Warrior Nation fan event, and that is being organised by the great Richie Morgan. That is on this Saturday. So I saw a question in the chat. Is there going to be a pre-game drinks at the Lord Alfred? You better believe there is. Absolutely is. It was organised the second full-time ticked over. So make sure you guys all get to the Lord Alfred Hotel this Saturday. I think it's starting from the very early time of 3 o'clock. You can get there at 3 o'clock if you want. I'll be getting there at about 5 o'clock. I've had to organise babysitters. So myself and my wife will be attending the game, but we'll be getting there about 5 o'clock. But yeah, feel free to rock up whenever you want. It's upstairs as usual, where all the fantastic events are at the Lord Alfred, always as organised by Richie. So yeah, it's going to be a massive turnout up there, and there is going to be food. The club is putting on food again. So the food will be coming out at about 5:30 p.m. So don't miss out on a feed. Come along there, and mate, like if it's anything like the last two, this one is going to be epic. I think this is going to eclipse the last two fan meetups. Always really well attended. Everyone is just in such a good mood, and why not, mate? It's a preliminary final, the third week in September, and we're still in it. So it's going to be, the vibe is going to be unreal.
Absolutely. Huge shout out to the Lord Alfred Hotel. They jumped on board this year. We've had our Magic Round event there. We had our Dolphins final round event there, and now this one. And they are an official supporter of the Dolphins as well. So to accommodate us the way they have this year has been outstanding. But also thank you to all those people that have turned up to these events this year that have made them such a huge success. I think we estimated we had probably about 200 people at the Magic Round event, and then the Dolphins event eclipsed that.
Massive!
And I'm expecting that this will be eclipsed, just so that everyone is aware. It's not an organised event where we're going to have guest speakers and so forth like we do at Magic Round. This is just to turn up and enjoy the atmosphere type event. As Rob said, the Warriors, the One New Zealand Warriors, Glenn Critchley and his staff have come on board again and are purchasing, organising food platters. So there will be food available on the day. But yeah, absolutely amazing. And I must reiterate that these type of events are what you can expect next year when you become a Aussie Fan Pass member of the Warriors. These events will be members only next year, trying to build the Australian Warriors fan base. So just keep that in mind. And
don't miss out. Yeah, don't miss out. If you're in Brisbane, Southeast Queensland, even if you don't have tickets to the game, come along. Don't miss out. Don't look at all the stuff on social media and go, geez, I wish I could have been a part of that. You can be a part of it. This is here in Southeast Queensland. Don't miss out. They're fantastic events. I'm telling you, you will meet so many people there. You may even meet an ex-Warrior or two there. I
think they will.
Big Toots and Campo are always there.
There'll definitely be two of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So don't go, if you're swithering, make sure you go. Again, even if you don't have tickets to the game, stay there and watch the game there with all the other fans. There's going to be a lot of people that don't have tickets. I know for a fact there's people turning up that don't have tickets to the game. And make sure you're there. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. It's Andrew Lawless said it. We went to the last one. It's an awesome afternoon. It is an awesome afternoon, but it's made awesome by the people that turn up and the behaviour of the people that turn up as well.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So it'll be a great prequel to what should end up being a great game. Speaking of great games, mate, let's chat about that awesome semi-final victory at a sold-out Go Media Mount Smart Stadium last Saturday night. What scenes they were. It was the Warriors with a 40-10 victory to advance this week's preliminary final and effectively ended Newcastle's run of 10 straight victories. For the Warriors, their 40 points came from tries to Nickel Kluxter, Fanua Blake, Montoya, Walker, Berry, Wateni Zelezniak, and Bailey Sirinen, with Pompey kicking 6 from 7 goals. And the Dragons, their 10 came from the Knights, their 10 points came from Marzu and Lucas, with Ponga getting 1 from 2 goals. Mate, what did you think of the game? Quick fire start from the Warriors. We're out to a commanding 16-0 lead early within the opening 10 to 11 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, we had our foot on the throat after that early mistake from Marzu, and we just didn't let up. They barely touched the ball in the blink of an eye. We're up 16-0. And it's amazing to think back to the start of this year when we were just lamenting how slow we were at starting all these games. I mean, you think back to the very first game this year, and we conceded a try in like the first 2 minutes against the Knights.
Yep.
Which was a complete opposite. That was just a hot start. They touched the ball twice and made 2 mistakes, and we made them pay. And that's what you got to do in finals footy.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to take your opportunities, and we just rode the wave, and the crowd just got behind the team, and that 16-0 lead, set up a very strong start.
Yeah, absolutely, it did. Absolute scenes when Chance went over, and then again when Fanua Blake
AFB.
went over. It was from all accounts, and Brad was telling us the other day too. It was just absolutely deafening. The noise of the crowd. Aaron Woods, Sharon Woods, the great New South Wales acrobat, he he was saying that the noise was louder than Origin. But seeing that Aaron Woods played for New South Wales in Origin, you don't get a lot of noise support from the New South Wales fans, really, because they don't have a lot to cheer about lately. No. But absolutely great start. Newcastle, they did consolidate themselves. They got back into it, into the game. Yeah. That back part of the first half was probably Newcastle were probably the better side, I thought. Marzu got his try in the 24th minute. Yeah. They starved us a little bit of possession, and I remember chatting
to you
saying
into the fight.
Yeah, they did. We were lucky we got those early 16 points because for a while there it looked like it was going to turn into a big arm wrestle, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And then, straight after halftime, all the talk, especially on Channel 9, and Billy Slater kept banging on about it, and Joey Johns, of course, was saying, one more try, and they're right back in it, and they managed to jag that try off what was a very questionable pass.
Yes.
That set up that try, and they got back to 16-10, and you go, here we go. This is going to turn into a bit of a grind, a bit of an arm wrestle, which we kind of thought the game was going to be. So that was the 46th minute. So the Lucas try straight after half time, but then we answered, we hit back right away. We got an opportunity, got a penalty, got down there, and we got that try from Dylan Walker, just absolutely steamed onto it. Did a WWE off the pads, straight over there, and then you could feel the boys were back on again. And it's like you got the feeling that if we just got one more, it might have just been the knockout punch. Yep. And then Rocco Berry, you had a fantastic game, it must be said, in the 59th minute. And he showed some great smarts to keep his arm off the ground and get the ball over the line. Some good lead-up work from Dallin as well. And, old Adam G was right there, but he set it up no try. But, clearly a try. And I think those are the points that kind of broke Newcastle's back a little bit.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, the original angle that they showed for the Berry try from that side-on view, I thought, I'm not sure. But when they showed the head-on, you could see it was really smart play from Rocco, as you said. Kept that ball off the ground. The referee, who was Adam G, the referee?
Adam G.
He was standing
intense.
Right there.
Yeah. He was right. I couldn't get over.
He was right there, and he sent it upstairs as no try. And he was right there in line with the pass from Adam Clune to Dylan Lucas, that forward pass for Newcastle's second try. But the thing that worries me about these, we can look back on it now and have a bit of a giggle because we did win so convincingly. But the thing that worries me is that a grand final is going to be decided on a poor refereeing decision, I think.
Those two Wade Egan ones, like the first one was a try of Wade Egan's, but because it gets sent up as no try and they don't 100% have definitive proof that the ball touched the ground, then they have to say no try. And you're right. Yeah. Like, what happens? What happens if that is in the last 30 seconds of a grand final?
Well, look at. Not that we really give a shit about Melbourne and the Roosters, but look at the Melbourne Roosters game. The referee's right there when Harry Grant knocks that ball on.
That was one of the worst I've seen. A dead set.
And they let it go. They get a penalty. Yeah. They go up the other end of the field and they score.
Yeah. It's so costly. So costly.
Yeah. Like I said, for us at the moment, it doesn't bother us, but it's a problem in the game, and it just worries me that a game this weekend, or even worse, the grand final is going to be decided on a really poor refereeing decision that'll have Graham Annesley come out on the public holiday after Grand Final day going, we got that one wrong.
Sorry, you should have won the
Yeah.
premiership. Yeah, you should have, but you didn't. Sorry about that, guys. Our bad, Better luck next year.
Yeah, exactly. Mate, as you said, that was the try that kind of broke the camel's back. And the Warriors then were able to pile on a couple more tries. Dallin with a try in the 63rd minute. Absolute fan favourite over there at Mount Smart. Yep. And then Bailey Surinen's try. I thought it was just reward for a real unsung hero of the past few weeks.
Yep.
It's interesting, isn't it? Ever since it's been announced that he won't be re-signed by the club, he's kind of he's been playing some really great footy. So I don't know where Bailey's going to end up next year, but I'm hoping he gets a contract somewhere because he'll have some real value and some worth for someone. Mate, that 72nd minute, Sean Johnson gets replaced. I think we're all hoping that would happen a little bit earlier in the game, just to keep him wrapped up in cotton wool. But how about those scenes from the crowd? Where he came off on the far side, and had to walk around, taking in that whole the adulation of the crowd. It was just it was magnificent.
That would be so surreal, surreal. Like coming from the last couple of years, walking, just doing it's almost like a victory lap around Mount Smart, isn't it? Just lapping it up and. Man, that's a guy who's enjoying his footy. That's a guy who is just reveling being home. He's just, you just get seeing stuff like that. You just get the feeling it's just meant to be.
Yeah.
This year, you just get that strong sense that something is really building.
I don't know if I've shared this. I don't know if I've shared this with our Warriors followers here on Ruin Hammer, but I know I've spoken to you about this a couple of times. But I'm very convinced that 2023 is going to be one of those years that I look back on with so much sorrow and pain, but also some happiness as well. And it's no surprise. I think everyone here knows that my dad passed away 3 months ago, and. So 2023 is always going to be a hard year looking back because that will always be the year that we lost him. But it's also I'm just watching what the Warriors are doing, and I said to you after Dad passed away, I actually said I reckon the Warriors will go all the way this year because it'll be that year that I look back on with so much pain, but also confliction and happiness. So, mate, we're one game away from hitting that grand final mark. Yeah,
and I'm telling you, after full time when we win the grand final, your old man will be up there still bagging out Tohu Harris, saying he shouldn't be in the team. It's like, Dad, that's Tohu Harris. We just re-signed him. Well, you shouldn't have.
Oh, my dad, what a champion! What a champion bloke! Hey? Yeah. I'll tell you what, he wouldn't be happy about how the All Blacks went the other week. That's for sure. He's a massive All Blacks fan. I remember taking.
Are the All Blacks playing at the moment? Does anyone know? Are the All Blacks even playing?
Yeah, we beat Namibia last week. Andrew Webster, Tohu Harris, both very humble in their post-game press conference. Webby keeping it really grounded. And then I watched his interview at the airport today when he arrived in Brisbane today. Still, keeping it very grounded, making sure all the boys know what they've got to do. And that's probably one of the things I love most about Webby is he just doesn't get carried away. He's a realist. And he's been able to do with the boys this year and just keep them focused and playing some really good footy has been absolutely outstanding, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. He's exactly what we needed. It's just so crazy to think back about the last 12 months and where we were this time last year. And then, the whole uncertainty of having an untried coach coming in and, just the way it's all fallen into place. And when you just hear him talk, he's just so measured and he's just so calm, but you just feel he's in total control and he knows exactly what he wants. And I just love listening to him. He's got a good sense of humor as well, which I like.
Yeah,
absolutely. He's always quite lighthearted in his presses. So,
yeah, good to see the Clough Stuffs joined us in the comments.
Yeah, welcome back, mate.
Yeah, haven't seen you for a little while. Hope everything's going good, bro. I know You've been working hard, and Mikey Mitchell's in the chat as well. And Troyden Mark Waters has asked, will you guys be at the Lord Alfred on Saturday? Rob will. I won't.
I will. Yep.
I'm staying in Sydney this week, preparing myself for the grand final the following week. And someone's commented in the thing, Katana's dad with a question mark. Absolutely, I am. So I'm assuming you know my daughter Katana. So that's awesome, mate. Just go back to the game. A couple of stats out of the game. We had a 56% possession, 82% completions compared to the Knights' 78%. Dominated the run meters, dominated the post-contact meters. We dominated the line breaks 7-2, tackle breaks 47-26. Interestingly, the Knights had more offloads than us, but I think it just we only had 4 to their 6. And I would say that the 4 offloads that we did have, I reckon 3 of them came from Tohu Harris. And it just tells me that there was no real forced passes. We just trusted the game plan and our attack shape when we got down that end of the field. Yeah. 734 kick meters compared to the Knights 681. And I think the difference in the kick meters and the commentators were quite brutal on Tyson Gamble's kicking game. Tyson Gamble seemed to just be kicking for the sake of kicking on a 5th tackle option. Like really didn't put any of our back 5 under pressure, whereas our kicking game, Johnson's kicking game, Johnson's kicking game was tactical, to the corners.
You can see what he was doing every time. Yep. And on Channel 9, someone was complaining about on Channel 9, what's he doing? He's just putting it up there. And then I think it was might have even been Gus Gould. He said, no, you can see what he's doing. He's deliberately kicking for the corners, and they're just nailing them down there.
Yeah.
And it's we also used to complain about it a bit, but this year it's actually working as a tactic.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Obviously in a win in a semi-final like that, such a convincing win, there's always going to be standout players. I think most of the team had outstanding games and all did their jobs well. Our back 5 were outstanding, though, weren't they?
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, brilliant, like they have been all year. CNK 32 runs, 299 meters. Just give him the extra meter.
I know.
Just 1 meter. 103 post contact meters, 8 tackle breaks, a line break assist, 1 try, a try assist. Was there anything he didn't do, mate? He's just the complete player, and
he had no kick meters, mate. He had no kick meters.
No kick meters.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, we don't want him. We probably don't want him kicking. No. As you said, Dallin, 14 runs, 156 meters, 58 post contact, 6 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks, try. Berry, very strong, 11 runs for 106 meters, 43 post contact, 3 line breaks, 17 tackles, some really good tackles as well.
Yep.
Pompey, 40 Pompey, got to be Pompey's best game of the year.
Yeah.
14 runs, 143 meters, 52 post contact, 1 tackle break, 13 tackles. Once again, kept Bradman Best pretty quiet.
Yes.
And Montoya, 20 runs, 160 meters, 44 post contact, 5 tackle breaks, line break, and a try as well. Yeah, we're just getting so much value from those guys.
All 5 of them over 100 meters. 4 of the 5 over nearly 4 of the 5 over 150 meters. It's their post-contact meters. Like Rocco Berry, only, as you said, probably the least amount of meters with his 106, but he had 43 of those were post-contact meters, which is like 50% of his meters were post-contact, which was absolutely outstanding. But like you iterated, 17 tackles for him, 13 tackles for Pompey. And then you look at our edge forwards, Jackson Ford, 45 tackles on his edge as well.
He's outstanding. Involved in everything.
Nia Corey, 17 tackles, and Curran, 23 tackles on that other edge. And it's easy to see where Newcastle directed their attack down those edge channels. But defensively, we were very, very, very good. Adam Fanua-Blake, probably a little bit quiet this game compared to other games.
Only the 42 minutes.
Yeah, only 42 minutes, which was great to see that we could actually rotate our bench and still keep the pressure on. 117 run meters, 50 of those post contact. Barnett, 49 minutes for 151 run meters. As I said, mentioned Jackson Ford, he played the full 80, 45 tackles, 188 run meters, and 94 post-contact.
Massive.
Near Corey, only the 75 metres. Tohu Harris, huge, absolutely huge. 228 run metres, played the 80 minutes, 39 tackles. And I thought, coming off the bench, I thought Walker was quite effective as well. He had 38 minutes for 94 metres, 19 post contact, 26 tackles. Wade Egan, mate, a bit of an unsung hero for this Warriors side, isn't he? Had another good game.
Yes, yeah, very dangerous in attack. Like we just look so much better in attack when he's there. Always scheming out a dummy half, makes his tackles. Yep. And he's one of the premier dummy halves in the game at the moment for sure.
Absolutely. And Sean Johnson, the 73 minutes that he played, he had 15 runs for 94 metres, so he really tested out that calf. There was
Webby wasn't too happy about it though, was he?
No, Webby was not happy about that. Yeah, he was not. But he had the 2 try assists, and obviously his kicking game second to none in the 627 kick metres in this game. But yeah, just an out-and-out, all-round great performance from every player. Going to be obviously, I think the crowd had a lot to do with it as well. So thank you to all those New Zealand Warriors faithful that got out to the game and supported the boys on the weekend. It was you guys that got them home, and yeah, it would have been amazing to be a part of that scene. Yeah, absolutely. Any other thoughts on the game, mate, from you?
Oh no, just that it was such a fantastic occasion for the club. A suitable way to sign off our home season. We've made Mount Smart or Go Media Stadium a fortress again.
Yep.
And like Brad was saying in the show last night, like I was like, well, how did that rate compared to the 2008 blackout? And he said, no, that eclipsed it. He said that was unbelievable. The crowd was just absolutely at fever pitch, and the atmosphere, like it did in 08, just came through the TV. And yeah, what an incredible night for the club. One of the great nights in Warriors history for sure.
Absolutely. It will go down. It will obviously be one of those games now that we had a show earlier in the year where we spoke about the 10 most iconic Warriors games in our opinion. That one will edge its way into that top 10, and we'll have to work out which game drops out of that. Just other bit of Warriors news, mate. I went out on Saturday afternoon to watch our reserve grade. Our Warriors reserve grade play in the preliminary final against my old team, the North Sydney Bears. Yep. Bit of mixed emotions for me. I was watching the team that I support and I love play the team that I grew up playing for. And unfortunately for us, it was the Bears that came away with the victory, 28-24. They did lead that game quite convincingly, 24-12 for a little while, and then 28-12 before the Warriors had a bit of a late comeback. Probably fitting that the Bears make it through. They were minor premiers. They only lost 2 games all year. Were really surprisingly beaten by the Rabbits a couple of weeks ago. And in their defence, the Bears had lost a couple of players over the past couple of weeks to the Roosters first grade with that horror injury run that the Roosters have been going through. They did lose quite a few players, especially when they played South. So I was hoping we could capitalise on that. But Jesse and Ben Marsh, the Marsh brothers, really outstanding for the Bears in that game. For the Warriors, Zaya Mayu was outstanding, coming off the bench with some very big carries. Ronnie Volkman had a relatively solid game. Ali Leotia in the centres was very, very good for us. And Setu Tu, who filled in at fullback for Tane Tuapiki, who was with the first grade squad in New Zealand for this game, had an outstanding game. But yeah, congratulations to Slade Griffin and all those involved with the Warriors reserve grade this season, falling just one game short of the grand final. Would have been great to see them in the grand final this week against the Rabbits, but not to be. But it bodes well, mate, for the Warriors next year. Next year we're going to have the 5 teams. We'll have the first grade, the reserve grade, the SG Ball, Jersey Flegg, and Harold Matts, I think. So, development-wise, outstanding. Some really good performances and players came out of that New South Wales Cup, and a couple of them that we'll see next year, no doubt, get their opportunity in the first grade.
Yeah, definitely. It's great to have the lower grades strong. Shout out to Toke. He's in the chat. He said, "Get that mic ready." He was desperate for me to do a speech at the Dolphins game.
Hey, Toke,
he's going to give up on that one.
So Rob will grab the microphone and do a speech if you do your version of spoken for the crowd. Hey?
We'll do a duet. Oh no,
Yeah,
Lloyd will be there.
Yeah, and you got to do it for Lloyd. You got to get that leg up and over on Lloyd. Outstanding effort when Toke's on the microphone doing stroke.
Yeah, oh man, yeah, that has to be seen to be believed. Khan, yes, I'll be there with the Lord Alfred. Definitely, I'll catch up with you there. And a bit of unrelated NBA chat, but is the Heat going to get Damian Lillard? Well, geez, we're taking our time, and I don't think it'll eventuate. Anyway, We'll move on to it's been going on for ages. He only wants to trade to Miami, but apparently Miami don't have enough assets to please the Trailblazers. It's just a stalemate. So, we'll see how that goes.
So we're talking other American sports, are we? If we're talking American sports, mate, my Cowboys have got off to a great start this year in the NFL. We've beaten two New York teams. We beat the Giants in round 1 and the Jets in round 2. So. Go my Cowboys.
2 from 2. Yeah.
2 from 2. Mate, just some other NRL results. So, as we alluded to earlier, the Storm won the other final last week, beating the Roosters 18-13. I thought the Roosters were really hard done by, unlucky, especially when they got to that 13-12 lead. I was hoping that the Roosters would get through, only because I'm sick and tired of seeing the Storm and the Panthers in and around grand final time. I know the Roosters were in a couple, but I just thought that they were probably a bit of a dark horse this year. But yeah, Storm make it through, so the Storm will play the Panthers tomorrow night,
Friday night,
Friday night at Accor Stadium. And then in the NRLW, we had a couple of games, mate. The Knights 28 over the Tigers 8. This was the final round of the NRLW before they head into their semi-final. So the Knights securing their first minor premiership. So congratulations to the Knights girls. My tip for them to win back-to-back premierships is still on. Tigers had a good start of the season, but really fizzled towards the end of the year. But I think in a really shortened season, I think they had more wins than the men's team. So that's saying something. The Roosters 40 over the Cowboys 16. They tied up second spot on the ladder and hit 40 points for the 4th time in a 9-game comp, which is pretty remarkable. The Broncos 46 over the Dragons 12. They secured 4th spot on the ladder. The Sharks finished with a flurry 56 over the Eels 6. The Eels just diabolical this year, only had the 1 win. And the Gold Coast Titans 30 beat the Raiders 6. It was, I think, only the second time the Raiders had lost at home. The Titans securing 3rd spot on the ladder, and got a bit of a soft spot for the Titans with a couple of girls, especially our good mate Georgia that plays at the Titans. So hoping that they can go all the way and she can get an NRLW premiership. So the NRLW top 4 has the Knights, Roosters, Titans, and Broncos all making their top 4. So it'll be first, 4th, and second versus 3rd, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. Really want to have a bit of a chat now about our Warriors versus Broncos.
Just before we do, you mentioned the Tigers before. I just want to get your thoughts on the perennial basket case that is the Tigers reappointing Lee Hadjipentelos for 3 more years.
Yeah, well, mate, I don't think I'll go off as much as Backdoor Benny Elias did.
Backdoor Benny,
mate, I don't like. There's obviously problems at that club, and the problems stem from the top down. Everyone always says that, and that Lee Hadjipentelos. He's the guy that wears the fedora hats everywhere, isn't he?
And the Burberry scarves and all that sort of thing. And he's also with the Bryden's lawyers. So they're saying it's like a massive conflict of interest. So it's like he literally can't get sacked. He's the major sponsor as well. So it's crazy stuff.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Back-to-back wooden spoons, and they signed him for 3 more years.
Yeah, and no doubt they'll keep the other guy around that looks like the Tiger King as well. What's his name? Pascoe.
Pascoe.
Yeah. What a basket case of a club that is. And I have so many mates that support the Tigers, but Jesus Christ, why would you? Yeah, we do, don't we? It's weird, isn't it? Yeah, mate. He couldn't be the CEO of the Tiger Warriors, could he? Because he's had nothing to do with the Warriors, has he? Lee Patelis. Yeah, good.
No, don't think so.
Yeah. Fuck. Oh, mate.
It's yeah. You just shake your head, don't you? It's
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah,
on to this week.
Speaking of other, just while we are talking other clubs, I see the Toddy's taking a broom to the Cowboys as well.
Yeah.
Well, they say he's taking a broom. 9 Cowboys not re-signed. A lot of them lower graders, and those that weren't re-signed had already opted other places. I know Riley Price has gone to the Panthers. Poor Riley going to such a successful organisation. Peter Hiku's gone. Yeah, Peter Hiku's gone over to Super League. So, mate, it's going to happen, isn't it? When you don't have a successful season,
absolutely.
Brooms through clubs.
Yeah.
This is going to be a weird. Before we get onto this team, this is going to be a weird one for us because we've had a bit of player turnover in the past couple of years. I remember, especially during the COVID years, I think we worked out that from the beginning of 2020 to the end of 2022, there was only 6 players that had remained at the club over that time. So we'd gone through, effectively 3 30-man rosters. Coming into next season, I think we've only signed 2 players to come into our RTS and Chanel Harris-Tavita, who are both ex-Warriors anyway. So, and just 2 more players to add to our ever-growing list of hyphenated surnames. I must say, before I get off the hyphenated surnames, they came through for me last week. I put a little multi on. I had Chance, CNT, DWZ, and AFB all to score a try, and they all got up for me. So I might try that again this week with the hyphenated surnames.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Mate, okay, on to this week's game. We head to Suncorp Stadium. We're up at your neck of the woods in Brisbane, mate, for the all-important preliminary final, the grand final qualifier. It's only the 4th time in club history that we've advanced this far into a season. The last time, of course, was 2011. And as we all know, of the 3 that we have played in previously, 2 of them we have gone on to make the grand final, 2002 and 2011. Hoping that we can have a little bit of history repeats this weekend. No changes to the team that was named, mate. Do you want to run us through the team that's going to take on the Broncos at Suncorp this weekend?
Absolutely, yeah. The team that will run onto the Hello Turf of Suncorp Stadium is Chance Klukstad, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak, Rocco Berry, Adam Pompey, Marcelo Montoya, Temare Martin, Sean Johnson, Adam Fanua-Blake, Wade Egan, Mitch Barnett, Jackson Ford, Murata Niokore, and Tohu Harris. On the bench, Dylan Walker, Jazz Tivanga, Bailey Sirinen, and Josh Curran. And on the extended bench, Freddie Lussick, Tane Tawapiki, Antti Afoa, Ali Leatawa, and Ed Cozy. Yeah, so no changes from last week. And would you make any changes to that side that was so dominant? Yeah,
interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to say, interesting, isn't it? Because a couple of weeks ago when we had that small bench, we were kind of, I don't like our small bench, but, mate, that bench is fire. It's actual fire. Those guys all do a job when they come on the field.
It's a vibe bench.
Yeah. It enables Tor, who he plays middle anyway, so he just jumps in and fills in for Fanua-Blake or Barnett. Jazz plays in that middle forward role, and Walker and Sirinen and Curran are all doing a role when they come on the field. It's a good looking team. However, the Broncos are going to be no easy beats this weekend.
Absolutely not. No.
They're going to have the home ground advantage. They're going to have the more share of the crowd. And I'm not saying that our supporters won't be loud, because I know when we played Parramatta at CommBank, we had a small section of the crowd, but they were very loud. You could hear them coming through the TV. I know when we played the Dolphins, we had a good turnout at Suncorp Stadium. This is a Brisbane home semi-final. They have had tickets available to them since last week. I would say if we can get a quarter of the crowd share at Suncorp Stadium, we'll be going very, very good.
That's the absolute best case result, I think. Like
Yep.
this is a home preliminary final for the Broncos, mate. They are the hottest ticket in town in Southeast Queensland when they're playing well. Such a powerful team. Like their fans are going to turn out. They had a ticket window before we did as well, so they all their members would have gotten their tickets, and yeah, like it's going to be massive. It's a sellout. But Suncorp Stadium is such a great place to watch footy. And the other thing that I think in our favour is that teams love to play at Suncorp. And the Broncos historically have not had the greatest record. I mean, they've got a very strong record at Suncorp. But the fact is it's a ground that a lot of teams love to go and play at. It's a fast surface, usually a dry track. It's got that Coliseum feel. The fans are close to the action. And also the fact that there's a lot of support for all other teams in Brisbane as well usually makes it a fairly attractive venue for the away side.
Yes,
and I know that the boys definitely won't fear playing there. And and great place to watch footy. We can't distress that enough. It really is an awesome ground.
The only thing going against us is we haven't had a lot of success there in the last couple of years.
Not recently, no.
What was it? Cronulla was our last win there. Was it?
We beat the West Tigers there in 21.
20 West Tigers. That's right. Yeah. Where we shouldn't have. Was that where they jumped out to a 10-0 lead or something?
Yes. Yeah, that's right. We were going absolute bustards, and they were saying surely they turn up and beat the Warriors, but no, we got them on that night. And since then, we've had a few tough results there, but I mean, we know what to expect. It's going to be a dry track. It'll be great conditions for footy. It's warm, but it's not too hot up here as well. At night time, it'll be absolutely pristine. No rain. We haven't had rain up here for ages, so it's going to be completely dry.
So you've just jinxed that.
It's going to bucket down.
Watch for a storm front to come in about 7:30 on Saturday. Thanks to Rob. Yeah. You can all blame Rob for that one. Although he's not so Nostradamus-y anymore, and we'll actually see in a couple of weeks when we revisit our predictions that Rob's predictions are way off for this year. So maybe it's going to be heat wave conditions up there now. I don't know. Mate, I have a question for you, and it's a little bit tongue in cheek, but if our worst fears are come true and the Broncos win this weekend, with the season that the Broncos have had, it'll be 78 days since the last time they've played in Sydney. If they make it through the grand final, will there be a petition by the Broncos to have the grand final moved to Suncorp just so that they can, round out their season perfectly for them? Because they have played
almost certainly. I don't think Penrith will have a choice, or Melbourne, depending on who gets through to the final. But they won't have a choice. It's the Broncos. They're the power club. NRL does what they want.
There is 9 Sydney-based teams, and the Broncos haven't played here for 78 days. That's nearly 3 months or 2.5 months of footy that they haven't played in Sydney.
They played something like only 3 games in Sydney this year. Is that right? Did I hear that correctly?
They played 5 games out of Queensland.
5, is it?
All year.
Okay.
Yep.
Including going to New Zealand to play us. Yep.
And 1 game in Melbourne. So just absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Poor babies. How can they be expected to win a premiership if it's not on their doorstep?
Well, no wonder they've gone so well this year. They've played nearly every game at fucking home. Even their away games have been at home.
Yeah, exactly. Like they played 3. So they played the Dolphins twice, which were both technically home games for them. And Magic Round, Manly took their home game to Suncorp.
Yeah. Yeah. Mate, let's break down these big matchups that are going to happen this week. No doubt the biggest matchup of this round will be Johnson versus Adam Reynolds. 2 guys that were in the twilight of their career. At the end of last year, it was talking about that Johnson was probably coming into his last year in first grade, and a lot of people predicted that he wouldn't last the season in first grade. Reynolds was let go by the Rabbits. They thought he was an elder statesman and didn't have much left in him. He's found a resurgence at the Broncos. these two guys obviously been the shining lights for their teams this year. It's their kicking games that are going to be the big one. If there's one player in the NRL that probably has a better kicking game than Shaun Johnson, I would say it is Adam Reynolds.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, nullifying his kicking game is probably going to be the big one. Putting pressure on him, making him rush his kicks is going to be the big one. How do you see that matchup between Johnson and Reynolds playing out?
Yeah, like you said, Reynolds' kicking game is always immaculate, spot on. How many of those 40-meter 2-point field goals has he kicked? We know he's got a huge boot on him. Probably the best tactical kicker in the game. He's got it all long kicking game, short kicking game. And Johnson just in a rare vein of form. So it's gonna be such a crucial clash.
Yep.
I would say maybe Johnson has a little bit more X factor than Reynolds. Reynolds is a little bit more steady, but obviously the X factor from the Broncos comes from other areas. So they've certainly got that in spades in other positions. Let's not forget our old mate Reece Walsh out the back there.
I was going to touch on him next. Yeah,
it's going to be an arm wrestle.
Walshy up against Chance. Chance is just that 100% ever reliable fullback. Rarely makes a mistake. Really measured in his game. 100 and something run meters every game that he plays. Really heavily involved. Gets our set started off well. Whereas Walsh is really developed his game since he's gone to the Broncos. I have to admit, he's a better version of himself than what left the Warriors at the end of last year. He's really matured into a much better player. I'm not saying he's a mature person. I'm just saying he's matured into
his game
a better player.
Matured.
Still gets has a little bit of error in him, and I think if we put him under a little bit of pressure, we can bring out some erratic behaviour in his gameplay.
Forget Rocco putting all that pressure on him as he has been all year.
Yep.
That's going to be a key aspect of our game, I think.
Yeah, I agree 100%. A lot of these guys from the Warriors know Reece Walsh. They played with Reece Walsh, so they'll know what his game's all about, and they'll know what does get under his skin. And I'm pretty sure both Pompey and Berry are up for the challenge of putting the pressure on him, whether he goes left side or right side, because he does play both sides of the ruck. The other one for me, for the Broncos, that's a bit of a worry, is Ezra Mam. Where you said Johnson's got a little bit of that X factor about him that Reynolds doesn't have. The Broncos compensate that by having a guy like Ezra Mam playing in the halves with Adam Reynolds. Ezra Mam's had a fantastic season, and on the other side of the coin, Tamari Martin for the Warriors has spent a good chunk of the season injured. He's only played the 2 games or 3 games now back. Still looks a little bit underdone for me. And of all the players from last week's game, he's probably the one player that probably really didn't shine or stand out in when other guys had moments in that game. So I think the pressure's on Martin this week to really step up, take a little bit of pressure off Johnson, and maybe get some of those combinations going that he had earlier in the season with his outside backs and his edge back rowers.
Just on Tamari though, don't forget he played with the Broncos last year, so he'd know.
Correct.
He'd know a fair bit about a lot of these guys, how they play, and he was fullback when Ezra Mam and Reynolds were there in the halves. That kind of thing.
He was too.
So, no better time.
Yes.
Breakout game.
The forward clash. There's been a huge debate all season who's the better front rower, Adam Fanua-Blake or Payne Haas. For me, Fanua-Blake is the standout front row of the comp. Going to be a massive task, massive contest between him and Payne Haas to see who is the premier front rower. Also, you throw Tommy Flegler into there, who doesn't mind getting in and doing some of the dirty stuff. But then we've got Mitch Barnett up front as well. The forward packs look relatively balanced from both teams. Tohu Harris counteracted with Paddy Carrigan. You got a guy like Marata Niokore who does run hard onto the ball, but they've got a guy like Jordan Ricky who's had an outstanding season as well. I think where we have it over the Broncos is our number 9, Wade Egan, is a far superior number 9 to Billy Walters. Walters had a great season, no doubt, and he's another guy that's really improved this year. But I just think Wade Egan's going to be the difference around the ruck for the Warriors in this game. How do you see the forward battle playing out, mate? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, more of my thoughts. Yeah, it's fairly evenly matched up, as you said. Like they kind of, you've got the Haas and AFB, and then you've got Flegler and Mitch Barnett. They're almost like similar. Like you've got the blonde or the strawberry blondes, should we say?
Yes.
And then the enforcers against each other, Haas and AFB. Yeah, pretty even in terms of second row. There's Strike out there. You got Ricky, but then you've got Niokore. And like even like Paddy Carrigan and Tohu Harris, somewhat similar. I think Tohu's probably a more superior all-round player at this stage, and like he offers so much more with that second phase, the pass out the back. So I think that is going to be a key, and we're going to need to score points to beat the Broncos. Yep. We need to be a little bit unpredictable.
Yeah,
and so like that try that we set up against Penrith, where there was a couple of late offloads from Mitch Barnett, like we probably need a little bit more of that. Yeah, and like you mentioned, like Wade Egan, he's going to be crucial, scheming up the middle. Be good to see him dart over from dummy half like he has so often this year. Get to pinch a couple of tries, but yeah, make that dart out of dummy half and find someone in support. But yeah, however the points come here, we need to keep that scoreboard ticking over to keep the pressure on the Broncos, because we know they have points in them.
It's probably it's like the Broncos have had a fantastic season, but they're a young side as well. They don't have similar to us. They don't have like they didn't play finals footy last year, so they're going to have. It's going to be a new occasion for them as well. Maybe the occasion might get to them. Hopefully. We've got a couple of guys. We got guys like Niokore, who played in last year's grand final. We've got Mitch Barnett, who's played at the Knights in their semi-final teams in the past couple of years. Fadil Blake played at Manly. Tohu at Melbourne.
Dylan Walker.
Yeah, Dylan Walker at Manly. Chance at Canberra. These are guys that bring a little bit of semi-final experience to them. For the Broncos, it's really only Adam Reynolds that has really got much semi-final experience. Did win a premiership in 2014, a long time ago. I listened to Webby's interview today at the airport, and he said, they just got to do things better. There was a period in last week's game where they didn't put defensive pressure onto Newcastle, and they allowed Newcastle to get back in the game. And he just wants them to be better in that.
Line speed.
Speed.
Our line speed's been good all year. Yeah.
Yep. Kicking game, kick to the corners and put pressure on their back five to come out from a corner.
No cheap meters, no silly penalties. Get that out of the game.
Absolutely.
And apply pressure, and then a bit of scoreboard pressure as well.
What's your tip for this game, mate? Who do you think will win, and by how much?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna stick with the boys. I think we can do it. But it is going to be a close one, I think. I'm going to go. I think it might play out similar to our 2011 semi. I think it'll be close for the majority of the game, and then there will be one moment of individual brilliance in the last 5-10 minutes that will win it for us, a la SJ back in 2011. I think Cooper Cronk's still looking for him at Amy Park there.
He is.
See where he went. But I think I'm gonna go Warriors by 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be close right up into the end.
I think both teams have points in them, and that's going to be one of the things that's probably going to make this a better final to watch than the Friday night game between Melbourne and Penrith. I think that's just going to be a dour defensive game, whereas this game's going to really rely on some attacking prowess. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be 28-24 to the Warriors. I think we get home. Quickly too, mate, the extended bench. Who do you think is retained as 18th man? Will it be Lussick, Tuapiki, or Afoa?
I think Lussick.
Yeah, I think Chuapiki. I think Chuapiki just brings
So
more.
it's fair call.
If there's
Bit more versatility.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And before we finish off on this Warriors Broncos chat, mate, just once again, do you want to let everyone know what's going on for the pre-game at the Lord Alfred?
Absolutely, guys. Any of you in southeast Queensland here for the game, even if you don't have tickets to the game, make sure you head along to the Lord Alfred Hotel, top of Caxton Street. Head straight upstairs where all the functions are. Richie Morgan from Warrior Nation has once again organised the fantastic fan meetup. I believe it's starting from as early as 3 o'clock. If you can get there then. There is going to be food. The club is putting on some food platters as well. That will be served from about 5:30. Come up there, just mingle with the fans. It's always a great night. Have something to eat, have something to drink, be merry. It's always a great vibe. Out on the veranda there, shouting out up the wires to anyone that walks past. That was awesome during the Dolphins game. And I believe there's a march or something going down Caxton Street later on, so yeah, you can join in on that.
Only one guy can lead that, mate.
Yeah,
There's only one guy to lead that.
Hey? So don't miss out. That really is one of the highlights of game day at Suncorp is walking down Caxton Street. It's going to be packed, obviously. All the Broncos fans will be at the Caxton. But us Wars fans, make sure you get on to the Lord Alfred, go upstairs. As I said, starting from about 3, food from 5:30. And, then it's a short walk down to the stadium for the 7:50 kickoff. So don't miss out. Make sure you get in there. You're going to meet so many supporters from here, from all over Australia, all over New Zealand, all over the world. Let's face it, everyone's coming to this. So
absolutely,
don't miss out.
Absolutely. Just a shout out to my old workmate Sonny Fitakefu, who's in the chat, bro. Good to see you, brother. Actually saw you today driving on the other side of the M4 when I was heading out to Wetherill Park. You would have been heading back from Clyde, no doubt, my friend. Just a quick one, mate, because we've got grand final tickets, obviously. We thought ahead and got grand final tickets a couple of weeks ago. So if the Wars get through, we're basically there. Does the NRL hold... We had this conversation today, so maybe people in the chat might be able to educate us. Does the NRL hold tickets back to go on sale this week for the two teams that make it through the grand final? Because I remember when the Warriors made in 2011, I had to buy tickets off a Dragon supporter who'd gone out and bought tickets for thinking the Dragons would make it, and they didn't. And it's been a while since I've worried about going to a grand final. Was that Brad? It wasn't Brad, no. Brad didn't have his Dragons tickets back then. But do we know if the NRL put tickets on sale on Monday for the two teams that win over the weekend? If so, I think there's going to be a huge rush for people to try and get tickets. People should have been smarter and got them a couple of weeks out, having faith in the boys. You don't know. We had this discussion today. We don't.
Yeah,
we don't
I'm not 100% sure. So if anyone does know, are there more tickets that will go on sale after this weekend's fixtures? Let us know.
Yeah. All right. There is another semi-final this weekend, mate. Tomorrow night, the Panthers play the Storm at the Panthers' traditional home of a Core Stadium in Homebush. Who is your pick for that game, mate? Who do you reckon will get up?
Panthers will be way too good. The Storm, they were terrible. I know they won last week, but geez, the Roosters are absolutely decimated with injuries, and they just got over the line. Oh, Panthers got plenty, mate. Yeah,
I've had a theory on the Storm because everyone keeps riding the Storm because they're the Storm, but you've got to think the Storm don't have the Bromwich brothers. They don't have Felice Kafusi. They don't have Brandon Smith. These are all guys that were, prevalent in their surge over the last couple of years when they've been playing finals footy, and they're four really experienced heads on the shoulders. Now they've got a lot of young guys like Eli Katoa and Trent Liero and Tui Kamikamica. Like Nelson Asafa Solomona is supposed to be their big thinker in the forward pack, and he's an idiot. He took out his own player the other week in Pappenhausen. So it's not the Storm of old. I agree with you. I think the Panthers are going to be way too good, and they'll trot into the grand final with about 20. I think they'll win by about 30-6, I would say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At least. Yeah.
And we've both tipped the Warriors. You
Yep.
got an 8-point win. I've tipped them 28-24
Mm-hmm.
to advance to the grand final. The NRLW, 2 standalone semi-finals this week. First, fourth. The Knights versus the Broncos at McDonald Jones Stadium. How do you see this one playing out, mate? Yeah. Two great games of footy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to stick with the Knights. Yep. I think the home ground advantage will get them over the line. Broncos probably not as strong as they have been in previous seasons, but still a threat. But I think the Knights will get the job done there.
I think they will too, and I reckon there'll be a crowd of over 10,000 at this game. I reckon the Knights faithful who have got behind their NRL side had the opportunity to watch the NRLW side in curtain raisers a couple of times, and seeing that team go through and win, I reckon they'll have a great support there at McDonald Jones. I reckon the Knights will do it probably about, I'll say 28-20. The second of the semi-finals is the Roosters at home at Allianz Stadium against the Titans. Who do you pick in this one?
Can't go past the Roosters. They're unstoppable this year. I think they're going to have a big win over the Titans. Titans have done well to be there, but it's at Allianz Stadium. I'm going to say the Roosters by 30.
I'm going to go the Titans, mate.
Oh,
I know. I just the Titans are there, and as I said, there's a couple of girls that played at the Warriors: Ivania Polide, Karina Brown, Georgia Hale, all Warriors alumni. Mate, I can't go against them, so I'm going to tip the Titans in a close one, 24-22. I would say in that one.
Okay, no, it's 24-22. Right. Okay.
Yeah. And before we head off, mate, we've got the Dally M's happening next week. A couple of Warriors players. It's a weird one because there's a couple of Warriors players in contention for honours at the awards night. Let's start with the big one that everyone's talking about, Shaun Johnson. Will he take out the Dally M medal? He's been the form player of the comp. My only concern is the fast finish that Kalen Ponga would have had. He would have maxed 6 points every game in those 9-game winning streak that they had. So I got a funny feeling Johnson may get pipped by Kalen Ponga.
I kind of agree as well because Johnson wasn't as prevalent in probably the last 6 weeks as he has been for the rest of the year.
Yep.
So he may not have picked up max points where like the Knights were coming off a 10-match winning streak. So Kalen would have featured, probably would have got the 3 points most of those weeks. Yep. Yeah, I definitely think he'll get halfback of the year though. And we might get a couple of other guys that win their positions.
Yeah, AFB.
Dallin could be a chance for winger.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on Wade Egan, the Smoky?
Mate, there's a lot of talk about Wade Egan, and Richie Sterling's in the chat, so I know he'll agree with me. That for a guy who's not ranked as a top 6 hooker, someone watching our show actually said that in an argument with me when earlier in the year when Egan was out and Lussick was coming in and he was raving about Freddie. I can't remember who it was. Raving about Freddie Lussick and said that Egan wasn't a top 6 hooker. Well, Egan's a top 6 hooker now. If anything, Egan's probably the form hooker of the comp. And you look at the guys around him, like Harry Grant's had a mixed season. Damien Cook's had a mixed season. Api Coruscant played in a losing side. So, yeah, maybe, the Roosters haven't had a set hooker all year.
Bit of a smoky, eh?
Yeah, him, Blake Brayley's had a good season at the Sharks as well. But yeah, I reckon Egan could go close to getting that award. As you said, DWZ will get one of the wings because now they pick a full team, not just positional.
Two wingers.
They pick two wingers, two front rowers. So yeah, I reckon definitely AFB will probably get a front row spot. DWZ will get a winger spot. Walker, if they're picking an interchange player, I think Dylan Walker's probably the standout interchange player of the year. And if Tohu doesn't get locked because you got a guy like Isaiah Yeo, who could feature in the actual Dally M points as well, Tohu could go close to getting captain of the year for what he's done at the Warriors this year. just like Webster could be in line for Coach of the Year, although with the season that the Broncos have had as well, if Kevy Walters gets Coach of the Year, it wouldn't surprise me, and I probably wouldn't be against it either.
It might come down to who wins on Saturday night, let's face it.
Yeah, it could do, actually. Yeah, it could do. Yeah. But yeah, that'll be next week, and obviously that'll be something that we get to talk about in next week's show when we're discussing the Warriors' win against the Broncos.
Yes, we will be.
Yeah.
I believe it. Yeah, we're going to be back, as you said, next week. And so, guys, don't forget that our weekly live shows have moved to Thursday night. Now there's no more Thursday night footy. That'll be 7:30 p.m., although we are about to move into daylight savings, but we'll give you the adjusted times when that does occur. But for the time being, it's 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. We're going to review, as Hammer said, we're going to be reviewing the Warriors' win over the Broncos and previewing the grand final of the NRL and NRLWs as well. And we will. We're going to be having our great mates Brad and Richie back on in a few weeks, and we're going to be revisiting our 2023 predictions. So all four of us did 23 predictions for 2023. And we're going to see who takes the Nostradamus bragging rights this year. I'll give you a hot tip. I don't think I'm going to be anywhere near it, but we'll see. We will see. I'm not looking forward to that personally, but yeah, there should be a few laughs there. And we're also going to be we'll be doing our best to bring you some more of those head-to-head interviews with past and present players on the channel soon, once the season commitments of the players have completed. So we do our best to bring you some more player chats.
Yeah, we've already spoken to Dallin, and he's keen to come on, and Webby said that he'll come on again at the end of the season as well. So we got two that we know we can bring to you, but we obviously, for obvious reasons, we want to just let these guys focus on what they're doing without two gibberers constantly getting at them saying, hey, when can you come on? So we'll get those to you as soon as we can. Before we wrap it up for the night again, I just want to acknowledge and thank our wonderful supporters, especially all you YouTube and Facebook followers and our Patreon supporters for their continued support. If you want to show your appreciation and support, you can head to our Patreon page to subscribe to our bronze tier general support level or silver or gold tiers, which includes supporter merchandise and other benefits. The link will be in the description below.
Yeah, another great way that you can show your support of what we do is head along to our Redbubble store. The link is on your screen and everywhere on our social media. So jump in there if you want to get yourself made an Up the Waz shirt. This is the Up the Waz Volume 2 that I'm rocking here. You can grab that. You can grab the original Up the Waz. You can grab yourself an SJ shirt, a Simon Manning shirt, any of the great T-shirts. So with designs that we have there, supporting legends past and present, as well as some great novelty prints, reliving some memorable moments in Warriors history. So jump on there and grab yourself a bargain before the season ends, or even if the season hasn't ended. Great for Christmas presents, I'll tell you. Anyway,
absolutely.
That's it for tonight's show. Thank you to all you guys who continue to support us here at Ruin Hammer. It's very much appreciated. And guys, I'm very much looking forward to catching up with all you guys who are going to be there at the Lord Alfred. Once again, don't miss out. Make sure you're there. Come and say hi. It's great to put a face to the name of a lot of you guys.
Absolutely. And I'll be at the Hudson Hotel in Sydney to watch the boys play. Going to have a birthday dinner with the family and then head in and watch the game. Anyone want to come and buy me a birthday drink, you are more than welcome to do that at the Hudson Hotel. Yeah, as Rob said, that's it for tonight's show. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in and joining us. Felt good to get back in the chair, mate. I haven't been in the chair for a couple of weeks. Always good to come on and chat Warriors, especially when we're winning. Everyone stay safe and up the Waz.
Up the Waz, baby.